Okay, so imagine planning your own birthday exactly the way you want it. Simple, low-key, zero stress, and then coming home to find out none of that mattered. That's exactly what happened to this guy, and honestly, I have so many thoughts. So this comes from Reddit's Am I the A-hole community, where people post their stories and let the internet decide who's in the wrong. And this one has over 14,000 upvotes, so clearly it hit a nerve with people. Let's get into it. Our guy starts by explaining that his wife is a planner. Like, a serious planner. She has OCD, and because of that, she genuinely struggles to just go with the flow. Everything needs details, timelines, a plan. He gets that about her. He understands it. And honestly, he seems like he's been pretty patient about it over the years. But here's the thing. It's his birthday. And all he wanted, all he asked for, was one simple, chill night. He's been burnt out from work, exhausted, running on fumes. So when his wife asked what he wanted to do for his birthday, his answer was about as low maintenance as it gets. He said something like, I just want to go to a chain restaurant. No dressing up. No big plans. Just whatever I'm feeling that day. Maybe Olive Garden. Maybe Chinese takeout. I'll know when the day comes. Simple. Right? Now here's where things start to go sideways. His wife immediately asks for specifics. What time? Which restaurant? Do you need reservations? And he tells her, multiple times, no reservations needed. We'll walk in on a Wednesday evening to a casual chain restaurant like normal human beings. No big deal. She pushes back, clearly frustrated that he won't commit to a plan. And he just keeps telling her the same thing. I want to go with the flow. I want to eat what I'm feeling that day. That is the plan. The whole point is that there's no plan. And look, I get both sides here, I really do. For someone with OCD, the lack of a concrete plan probably felt genuinely uncomfortable. It probably created real anxiety. But he communicated his wishes clearly and repeatedly. He wasn't being vague to be difficult. This was literally what he wanted for his birthday. So the week of his birthday, she asks again what time they're leaving. He says around 5 or 6 when they both get home from work. Still no specific restaurant. Still no reservations. He's consistent the entire time. He never wavered. And then, his actual birthday arrives. He's had the day in his head. Olive Garden. Breadsticks. Maybe some pasta. Get home. Eat something comforting. Decompress, and just breathe for the first time in what sounds like weeks. That was the dream. That was all he wanted. He walks through the front door around 5 o'clock. His wife is dressed up. Like, fancy dressed up. And before he can even process what's happening, she tells him, surprise. She made reservations at a fancy sushi restaurant in the city. They need to leave in 20 minutes. And I want you to really sit with his reaction for a second because he describes it perfectly. He says nothing has ever sounded so unappealing to him in his life. Not because sushi is bad. Not because his wife did something objectively terrible. But because he is burnt out and exhausted and he had spent weeks telling her exactly what he needed, and none of it had landed. He didn't want to get dressed up. He didn't want to drive into the city. He didn't want a fancy meal with a reservation at a place that requires an outfit. He wanted breadsticks. They get into an argument. She tells him how much effort she put into getting that reservation. And I'm sure she did. I'm sure she genuinely thought she was doing something wonderful for him. But he had to remind her, I told you I didn't want this. I told you multiple times. And here's the moment that the entire internet has an opinion about. He left. He went to Olive Garden, by himself, on his birthday. He sat down, ordered his breadsticks, had his chill dinner, and came home. And then they had another argument after he got back. Now, the internet is pretty divided on this one. A lot of people say he is absolutely not the a-hole. He communicated his needs clearly and repeatedly, and his wife essentially ignored all of it and made plans based on what she wanted to do, not what he asked for. His birthday isn't a surprise party situation where he's supposed to have no input. He specifically asked to be involved, or rather, he specifically asked for it to be simple. But then there's another side that has some sympathy for the wife. She has OCD. The open-ended nature of his request probably caused her real distress. She wasn't trying to be selfish. She was trying to do something special for the person she loves. She just went about it in completely the wrong way. Here's where I land on it. Good intentions don't override someone's clearly stated wishes, especially on their birthday. Especially when those wishes were communicated multiple times over multiple weeks. If she was genuinely struggling with the open-ended plan, the conversation to have was, "Hey, I'm having a hard time with not having something concrete locked in. Can we compromise?" Not going ahead and booking the opposite of everything he asked for and calling it a surprise. Because here's the thing about surprises. They're supposed to delight the person you're surprising. A surprise that ignores everything they told you they wanted isn't really a gift. It's doing what you wanted to do, wrapped in a bow and handed to someone else. And this poor guy, all he wanted was to sit in a booth, eat some pasta, and not think about work for one evening. He earned that. He asked for that. And instead he ended up in an argument on his own birthday and had to eat dinner alone. I genuinely feel for both of them here. This relationship clearly has a communication gap that goes deeper than one dinner. And hopefully they can work through it. But on the specific question of whether he was wrong to go to Olive Garden by himself, I think he had every right to. What would you have done? Would you have caved and gone to the fancy restaurant to keep the peace? Or would you have done exactly what he did and stuck to your guns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know where you all land on this one. And if you want more stories like this every single day, smash that subscribe button. I'll catch you in the next one.